nationale Kampftruppenbrigade Präsenz gegeben ist, selbstverständlich. Und dass sehr schnell diese Präsenz dann auch durch weitere Soldatinnen und Soldaten unterstützt werden kann. Das ist das richtige System. Abschreckung durch Präsenz und Gewährleistung durch ganz schnelle Unterstützung.
Frau Ministerin, wird das EFP-Bataillon denn da bleiben in Litauen? Also wird die Kampfbrigade zusätzlich geschaffen zu diesem Bataillon, an dem sich ja Deutschland momentan mit rund 1000 Soldaten beteiligt?
Wir werden über genau diese Ausgestaltung jetzt miteinander reden müssen, dieses mit Leben erfüllen. Es ist wichtig, dass ein klares Signal ausgeht von dieser Kampftruppenbrigade. Das ist möglich, wenn viele Nationen sich daran beteiligen. Wir sind bereit, hier auch Führung zu übernehmen.
Sehen Sie darin ein Modell für andere Führungsnationen in der NATO?
Das ist unser Vorschlag, den wir heute vorstellen werden. Ja, das ist ein Vorschlag, der deutlich macht, wir stehen an der Seite der Alliierten an der Ostflanke. Und das kann sehr wohl eine Möglichkeit sein, auch in anderen Ländern diese Präsenz und diese Unterstützung zu zeigen. Wir gehen da voran und werden mit unseren Partnern austauschen, ob es eine Möglichkeit ist für weitere Länder.
Minister, you will have meetings with Georgian. Für die nächsten Wochen oder bis zum Gipfel oder auch danach, dass die Zahlen noch mal deutlich steigen von der Präsenz im Osten? Oder ist es das jetzt, was man im Prinzip jetzt auf dem Tisch hat?
Wir werden eine multinationale Kampftruppenbrigade aufbauen. Deswegen sind wir jetzt in Abstimmung, was andere Nationen leisten. Wir sind bereit, auf jeden Fall in einer vierstelligen Zahl uns dort einzubringen. Das haben wir schon deutlich gemacht und das werden wir auch auf jeden Fall gewährleisten. Und natürlich freuen wir uns um Unterstützung aus den Reihen unserer Verbündeten. Und vielen Dank. Vielen Dank.
She was told to go there, so like, yeah. And just,
After conference room 9, session 1 at 9:30. We'll be there for 2 hours.
That's it. I know.
Nous sommes ici aujourd'hui pour discuter la situation en Ukraine et les principes dissuasion et défense. C'est très important d'être unis et nous sommes unis pour être ici avec l'Ukraine. J'ai discuté la situation en Ukraine avec le ministre Reznikov hier et c'est très important. Il était ici avec nous et nous sommes unis. We are here today to discuss the situation in Ukraine and the principles of defense and deterrence upon which NATO is founded. We will ensure that we provide military aid to Ukraine in the short and the long term. Of course, Canada, I announced yesterday that we will provide barrels for the M777 in addition to the 155 artillery that I announced a few weeks ago. Je pourrais avoir des questions si vous voulez.
Madam Secretary, what is necessary in terms of deterrence and defense on the eastern flank of NATO?
Canada is extremely committed to NATO's eastern flank. We lead the Enhanced Forward Presence Battle Group there, and we have done so for approximately 5 years. We recently recommitted to Operation Reassurance and have over 1,000 Canadian Armed Forces members on the ground, in the air, and at sea. The eastern flank of NATO is very important, of course, and Canada, as well as NATO, will do whatever we can to ensure that it is fortified.
Madam Minister, you are preparing for Madrid summit. What can you offer partners, for example, like Georgia this summit?
We are very supportive and committed to Georgia, as well as a number of other states, some of whom visited yesterday, including Moldova, for example. We are also committed to welcoming Sweden and Finland to NATO. We believe that the indication of their willingness to join NATO is simply something that Vladimir Putin likely didn't expect, that NATO would be stronger after the invasion of Ukraine, the illegal invasion of Ukraine, I should add. This is an ongoing situation of unification of NATO allies and partners, and we will continue to stand together against Vladimir Putin's war in Ukraine. Thank you.
derrière toi. Moi j'avais bloqué. Il y avait un gars qui arrivait. Ah, il a banni bon, mais un. C'est bien qu'il y en a un qui a mort, c'est deux. Ouais, mais on a chacun une fois.
Ah oui, à mon avis, ça doit être ça.
Not a good day to be inside today.
No. It was warmer later, but...
Saturday. Too much. Wow, that's a lot. Congratulations.
I should get a medal for that one. Or she should.
The same for you, sir.
Ha bu uçakla gelsin ya, ben onu taşıyamam zaten yani. Ya öyle bir imkanım yok yani. Tamamdır abi, teşekkür ederiz, hakkını helal et.
Il était très rapide, en fait, plus que les autres. Donc on peut faire des bêtises maintenant.
On va pas dire quand ça va.
Tu l'as déjà vu ce matin?
Tu l'as vu ce matin?
À 7h30, il est rentré. On dirait qu'il était fatigué.
Vamos a ver. Mira, te cuento, los checos he hablado.
J'ai couru après Daniel parce qu'elle est venue nous prendre le.
Il y avait toutes les jours.
J'avais donné 3 jours de chaleur, après ça va plus. Oui.
Oui, ça traite bien. Je vois bien qu'il me sent déjà.
Se faire un four au pizza ou un barbecue là-dessus, quand même, ça va bien. Co prawda ja miałem drugi roku farta. Kiedyś pojechałem na Rebeldowa, to znakomicie służyło. Kiedyś pojechałem na strzelnicę z takim pułkownikiem odpowiedzialnym za tę strzelnicę. On organizował zajęcia strzeleckie dla słuchaczy akademii. No super. I panie
No, è stato a un certo punto lo studio.
Against Russian aggression?
Well, I think we had a good discussion on that yesterday in the Ukraine Defense Group. And this morning I met with my colleague Alexei Resnikov together with my German colleague Christine Lambrechts. So we have been able to discuss further very specifically the requirements from Ukraine. And the solution is really to continue cooperation between the Netherlands and other countries to jointly find more ways to provide Ukraine with what they need, and also to make sure that we get industry involved for the backfill and sometimes even for direct delivery.
also discussing reinforcing the eastern flank of NATO. How, according to your opinion, should that look like?
I think that is the debate that we're going to have. Today there are proposals, of course, from NATO side, from SACEUR. And it's really important that we continue this reinforcement of the eastern flank. The Netherlands is very active in several countries on the eastern flank, adding Romania to that from this summer. But we have to have a more long-term strategy that provides the necessary protection and deterrence, but also is sustainable in the long term. So that is really what the debate is about.
If the war drags on much longer, we see one of the problems is that the training Ukrainian soldiers takes a while. Are there any thoughts about training them on weapons that have not yet decided to be delivered?
Well, I think Ukraine also sees that training is essential, depending a little bit on the system. We have now had this training with the Panzer howitzers, but I think it's always important to have the connection between the training and something that is actually going to be used. But we're going to build upon the experience that we had now with Germany and Ukraine on the Panzer howitzers.
So that Ukrainians could use the weapons quicker if it were decided that they would be delivered, that they are already trained beforehand.
Well, we're always looking into possibilities to do that, but the systems also have specific issues and requirements, updates, etc. But we have to look at what is the best and most speedy way to do this. But training is really essential. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ouais, moi aussi. On voit l'état de résultat.
The word was reinforced what, according to your opinion, needs to be done
to have effectful deterrence and defense?
Well, I think for countries like the Baltic states, it's important not only words but also deeds. And if we are looking, for instance, for the beginning of this war against Ukraine invasion, then if we would react correctly in 2008, when Georgia was invaded, there would not be Crimea of 2014. If we would act correctly in 2014, there would not be 2022. So will we act now correctly in order to avoid the next war? That's a big question. And that basically means that we need a prepositioning of larger armed forces in such countries as the Baltic states. There must be weapons, there must be economic might of the West put behind Ukraine, because Ukraine must win, it's very simple, and Russia must lose. There's no other way out of this. If it's different, then we will simply again invite for some kind of Russian activities in the next years. And we don't want this because the Baltic countries have been paying for lunch for others, and we are not ready anymore for that. So we want not only nice words, we want good papers, and we want promises which are held. That's very simple.
We met with Georgian colleague, and we're waiting for Madrid summit. What expectations should we have for summit this month, and what topics have you discussed with Georgian colleague?
I did not have a bilateral talk with Georgian colleague at this moment, but of course we had quite tough talks about the existing situation within Ukraine, where Ukraine is fighting our war basically and suffering because we are in a need to provide a larger assistance, larger military assistance, equipment assistance to Ukraine. And the threat to Georgia is not gone. This is very clear. Every country which is close to Russia potentially is under the threat. And this is why, for instance, such countries as Finland or Sweden is joining, not because they have nothing to do, because they understand that there is a threat. It's very simple.
Can you be more precise in terms of numbers? What is needed actually in the eastern flank? I mean, right now we're talking about proposals that's like several thousands, but do we need?
No, you know, it's not so simple to answer this question, because people usually in media or in traditional societies, they simply want, you know, do you want 3,000 or 10,000? We want a different type of planning. We want prepositioning of ammunition. We want that finally Western industry is ready to produce what is needed also for the defense of European continent. Because look, how we will act now, from that we will defend the future of European stability and security. And these are not just the words. And in our case, in the Baltic countries, we already have a certain allied troops on our territory, but we want improved planning. We want headquarter structures. We want prepositioning of different type of equipment. So if the crisis would come, we should not wait, because it's not only a question, can military act? It's a question, can politicians make the right decisions in the right time? And I think you know what I'm talking about.
But does that mean that what's on the table right now is, from your perspective at least, not yet sufficient?
I will not answer yet to this question because our talks did not finish.
Mr. Minister, you just talked about a Georgian war in 2008 and said that it was a mistake not to react correctly. Do you think that now it's the right time to invite Georgia or grant membership action plan?
About the not correct answers. You see, in certain parts of the Western society, there is sometimes this idea and thought that, look, if we would do something, it might escalate or provoke Russia to do whatever. And I think actually that we were really provoking Russia, if you understand what I mean, by not doing things. Because when we are not responding correctly to the invasion in Georgia, when we are not responding correctly to the invasion in Crimea, we are actually provoking Russia to act more, because as you remember, if you have been following up, when former Russian Prime Minister Medvedev was speaking briefly before 24th of August, he told, look, dear friends, we invaded Georgia, Western societies were putting sanctions to us, and then they got a fatigue and they were crawling back and asking for life as usual. Now look to the Guardian publications yesterday, day before yesterday. People in the West are already tired. They want peace. They don't care who is guilty. They want gas, they want food, they want grain, and they don't care about justice. They don't care about values in many ways. These are hard statistics. We should stop such type of thinking. We should finally understand, if we want to stop a bully, if we want to stop an aggressor, we must also look into his eyes and tell, you will not proceed anymore because we can fight you back. This is the only answer.
Membership of Georgia and granting before this membership action plan. Do you support it?
We eventually would support such type of membership, but are you ready at this moment to join? And have you been doing also your homework? That's also a big question. So this is not only the question to the NATO alliance, this is also the question to the country which is applying. And I think at this moment the most current issue is to get Russians out of Ukraine, and actually next week there are meetings of the leaders of European Union. We, in our societies, we are expecting that there would be application possibility for Ukraine to become a candidate country for European Union. That would be a real decision.
And Georgia, you support
Kiev. Is this a significant moment, or is it just another visit to Kiev?
If these three people are bringing weapons, ammunition, and strong support for Ukrainian forces which are dying in trenches, then yes. About Georgia, I cannot answer now.
Granting candidate status,
I think at this moment this is first question about Ukraine, because Ukraine is bleeding.
Aussi, ils ont pris un demi-heure et puis...
Okay, now we know you. Est-ce que vous encore plus, là, officiellement? Enfin, le coming out. Ça ferait la une.
So, Secretary Austin, dear Lloyd, welcome back to the NATO headquarters. It's always great to see you here, and let me thank you for your personal leadership, your steadfast commitment to NATO, to our transatlantic alliance, and all the contributions from the United States to our collective defense, to our shared security. Not least in leading the efforts to provide support to Ukraine to uphold their right for self-defense. Yesterday you hosted a support group, the contact group for Ukraine here at NATO, and I also very much welcome the announcement yesterday by the President of the United States to further increase the support for Ukraine because they really need our support. And yesterday at the Defense Ministerial meeting, it was a strong message from all NATO allies and partners that we are prepared for long haul. NATO allies are prepared to continue to provide substantial, unprecedented support to Ukraine. We are at this ministerial meeting of NATO defense ministers preparing for the summit later this month in Madrid. That will be a transformative summit at a pivotal time for our security. We will make important decisions on how to strengthen further our deterrence and defense in a more dangerous world. We will agree on a comprehensive package of support to Ukraine. We will agree on how to further modernize NATO by agreeing a strategic concept reflecting a new security reality. And then we will engage with partners including our Asia-Pacific partners, Japan, South Korea, Australia and New Zealand, and also with Finland and Sweden, two countries that are now applied for NATO membership. And then we will also, of course, address the need to further invest, increase defense spending, and improve burden sharing within our alliance. So, Secretary Austin, thank you so much. Thank you for being a steadfast and strong supporter of our alliance. Welcome.
Mr. Secretary General, Jens, thanks for convening this meeting. It's great to be back in Brussels. I think this ministerial will lay the foundation for a successful summit later in the month. So I look forward to some great discussions with our colleagues in the meetings that are coming up. Thanks again for your leadership. You've always emphasized that this alliance is built on core values, and our core values are always on display whenever we do anything, whenever we're together, and I think that's always noticeable and important. Certainly, as we see countries like Finland and Sweden make a historic decision to apply for NATO membership, that's very encouraging. We welcome that. These are strong democracies who have values that are very much aligned with our values, and very capable countries. And so we hope that things will continue to move forward in support of their desires to join NATO. Jens, I look forward to a great discussion. And let me end by saying the way I started by saying thanks so much for your strong leadership, and thanks for agreeing to stay with us a bit longer to help us work through some very complex issues in these difficult times. So, thank you. Thank you so much.
Arrogance incroyable. Non, ben, parce que je me souviens à cette comment c'est infantile de sa part. Et dans les refuse un peu. Dat geloof ik. Oui, je sais. Je l'ai rencontré quelques fois. Et de bonne volonté et tout. En ik was dat kind van oud rond, ik heb ze maar een paar keer gezien. Maar je crois que Dominique, mon épouse, la connaît mieux. Et ce qu'elle a dit, c'est l'enthousiasme. Et là, tu vois, amer. Et la mère est toujours chercher le conflit et il a voulu ma tête aussi, hein, aider Clément van der Borne, tu te souviens l'histoire du RGRS, le CDRG, le gouvernement des je crois qu'il est de mon âge, il n'est pas de 60 ans, quelque chose
¿Qué tal? Buenos días.
Ou bien on donne quelque chose. Ou bien il y a d'abord l'aspect politique, il y a la possibilité de donner c'est ça aussi la balance.
¿Cuánto pide ogni ministro per fermarsi a parlare con la stampa?
Bien, monsieur.
Voilà. Oui.
Voilà, donc on parle tout le temps qu'il faut renforcer le flanc est de l'OTAN. Est-ce que vous pensez qu'on fait assez en ce moment ou
Je pense qu'aujourd'hui, évidemment, il y a une guerre sur le continent européen et donc nous devons évidemment nous en préoccuper et assurer d'une posture militaire, certainement sur du moyen terme. C'est ce que nous faisons déjà, la Belgique comme les autres alliés, renforcer la sécurité de notre territoire. Ça me semble tout à fait opportun avec la situation que nous connaissons aujourd'hui.
Le ministre de Lettonie a dit qu'il n'y a qu'une solution pour cette guerre. L'Ukraine doit gagner, la Russie doit perdre, sinon la prochaine guerre est déjà en route. Et il dit qu'on doit faire beaucoup plus au niveau de l'OTAN pour s'assurer que ça marche au niveau industrie, à l'armement et au niveau donc, de soutien.
Tout à fait. Donc il faut évidemment continuer à être aux côtés des Ukrainiens. C'est ce que nous faisons depuis le début, que ce soit au niveau de l'OTAN, que ce soit en aide bilatérale, que ce soit surtout au niveau de l'Union européenne. Nous avons formé un bloc uni, Union européenne et OTAN, pour être aux côtés des Ukrainiens. Au niveau industriel, effectivement, il s'agit de renforcer notre autonomie stratégique et donc renforcer notre base industrielle. Aujourd'hui, il faut pouvoir réduire les dépendances économiques. Donc nous avons effectivement pas mal de chantiers qui sont en cours et sur lesquels nous allons discuter aujourd'hui. Merci.
Wie könnte Ihrer Meinung nach die Stärkung der Ostflanke im NATO-Gebiet aussehen?
Also erstens mal durch das, was wir zurzeit tun, viel massivere Präsenz. Zurzeit sind ja 50.000 unter NATO-Kommando stehende Soldaten schon postiert. Aber wir müssen das noch verstärken, ganz klar. Wir müssen Putin und Russland zeigen, dass die rote Linie ganz klar dort verläuft und es kein Zögern gibt und kein Zurückhalten gibt, je nachdem, was geschieht. Es kommt darauf an, Einigkeit zu zeigen jetzt und vor allem Stärke, weil das darf nicht durchgehen, was Russland sich da vorstellt. Darf keine neue Weltordnung geben. Das ist wichtig.
Bei der Stärkung der Präsenz redet man ja momentan von Truppen im 4-stelligen Bereich. Reicht denn das aus, um Russland abzuschrecken?
Ich glaube mittelfristig nicht. Ich glaube, wir müssen auch sehen, wie wir mittel- und sogar langfristig uns aufstellen werden. Vor allem auch jetzt hinsichtlich der Tatsache, dass mit Finnland und Schweden, was ich sehr hoffe, 2 neue Mitglieder zur NATO stoßen werden. Ich glaube schon, dass es sehr wichtig ist, dass wir da eine ganz klare Stärke zeigen und das wird mittelfristig nicht ausreichen, was wir jetzt tun.
Was glauben Sie, können Macron und Scholz und Draghi überhaupt machen in Kiew, außer mal Präsenz zeigen?
Ja, in erster Linie ist es natürlich Solidarität zeigen und zeigen, dass wir als Europäische Union auch bereit sind, weiterhin die Ukraine zu unterstützen. Und dann liegt natürlich immer wieder ein bisschen Hoffnung auch drin, Wege aufzuzeichnen, Pläne, wie irgendwann der Krieg beendet werden kann. Also ich glaube, keiner hat ja Interesse daran, dass wir diesen fürchterlichen Krieg mit sehr hohen Verlusten auf beiden Seiten über längere Zeit weiterführen. Das Ziel muss immer noch sein, auch dass eine diplomatische Lösung irgendwann auf den Tisch kommt und dass man schaut, wie die Ukraine auf der anderen Seite ihre Sicherheit garantiert bekommt und natürlich auch Russland weiß, dass es nicht darum geht, den einen oder anderen zu aggressieren, sondern dass es darum geht, längerfristig Stabilität zu bekommen. Ja.
Thank you. Morning.
Я се знаю, я първо от това изпълнатели ми беше първо.
Okay, I think we're ready to start. Good morning to all of you and welcome to this second day of the NATO Defense Ministerial meeting. We will discuss how we can further strengthen our defenses as we face the gravest threat to Euro-Atlantic security in decades. Right now, we have over 40,000 troops under direct NATO command, mostly in the eastern part of the alliance, and many more on high alert, backed by significant air and naval assets. And we have doubled the number of multinational battle groups from the Baltic to the Black Sea. But we need to do even more to keep our people safe now and in the years to come. So today we will prepare the ground for the Madrid summit, where we will make important decisions to keep our alliance strong. This concludes the public part of this meeting, and I thank the media for joining us at the top of the meeting. Thank you so much, and we continue in just a moment.